Continue to keep you up to date. Over to you. Greater than Griff. That's not welcome news. Farm staffed by illegal immigrants. The scene escalating when a protester seen here appears to fire a gun at the feds. The FBI now offering a $50 reward for info on the suspect. All of this comes as we await a ruling by the Biden-appointed federal judge. WHO is expected to curb all federal IMC congratulation operations in Southern California. Border czar Tom Homan joining US now. Tom, I watched that video out of Camarillo, California yesterday. I was mortified. What happened there and what is your reaction? Greater than my reaction is the same as it's been from day one. People are walking protester. They have their First Amendment rights. Griff. They can't cross that line. They can't impede us from doing our job. That's a felony. They certainly can't put hands on an agent. That is a felony. What happened in California is another example of protesters becoming criminals, and they have been emboldened by even members of Congress. WHO compare ICE to Nazis and racists and terrorists. I mean, the rhetoric is so high, and I said 2 months ago, it's going to end up with a lot of life. And we had one the other day in Texas. It's not over. The rhetoric has to end. ICE agents are simply enforcing the law that members of Congress enacted. They wrote, they created, and was signed by the president. If people want to complain about the job ICE doing is, go complain to Congress. Would he be enforcing the laws they enacted? We are doing our job. Greater than Griff. Tom, take you back, you just said you had a loss of life in Texas. Greater than yeah, you had a person attack a border patrol facility. BORTAC agents. Greater than Griff. Right, the individual that assaulted. I was just clarifying, making sure you weren't making news there that an agent had lost his life, and that is, of course, the fear. You talk about those politicians and the rhetoric that clearly seems to be fueling much of this. But you have also got some distortion of the facts. This was a post that California Governor Gavin Newsom put up yesterday. Kids running from tear grass crying on the phone because their mother was just taken from the fields. Trump calls me Newscum, but he is the real scum. We later find out there were 10 juveniles in that operation, 8 of which were unaccompanied minors. What do you say? Greater than I see this every day. I said from day one, when President Trump became president, that they are going to vilify the men and women of ICE. They will fight men and women of Border Patrol. They did it during the last administration. Except this time the rhetoric all-time high. Every day I get up and read the media posts at the White House. And 90% of the stories are just fake. They are lies. People say the polls are turning against Donald Trump a little bit on immigration. First of all, I don't believe it. If the polls turn at all, it's because August the fake news out there. They are lying about what President Trump is doing. They are lying about what the men and women of ICE are doing. And that kind of turns, the tide against us a little bit. That's why, members of the administration are out there every day setting the facts straight. The fact I read in the paper the other day, the majority of people arrested are not criminals. Wrong. Look at the data. Some media say it's misdemeanor. Not really a criminal. Not convicted, just charged, not criminals. No, we are prioritizing public safety threats and national security threats, and that's a fact. Greater than Griff. Tom, it strikes me unbelievable that the Democrats are not on board when you look at this raid. There were 10 juveniles that were illegally brought across the border. You and I covered this under the Biden administration. I was down in Texas. We encountered 8 10-year-old, 12-year-olds coming across with just a name and an address and phone number on their necks. The cartel ruthlessly sending them across. And, yet, now we know that 10 of them, 8 of which were unaccompanied minors, working illegally in a marijuana farm, and your agents go in and rescue them, essentially, and, yet, there is violent resistance to that. Does that upset you? Certainly upsets me. And like I said, the working men and women of ICE are doing is incredible. We are looking for over 300,000 missing children. We have already found 10,000. Have you heard that anywheres? No, the media is simply not covering it. Look, this should be a nonpartisan issue. Arresting public safety threats and national security threats, everybody be on the same page on that. Rescuing children, it should be a nonpartisan issue. Everybody should be in lockstep on that. But they're not. The media is lying. The Democrats are, they don't want President Trump to be successful. I got news for them. We are being successful. Every illegal alien, public safety threat we arrest makes this country safer. Every national security threat we take off the street and deport makes US safer. And we are rescuing thousands of children. The lives saved every day by ICE, the lives saved every day by Border Patrol are in the hundreds. So, only thing I can think of, Griff, if they hate President Trump more than they love their community. They hate President Trump more than they want, safe communities. It's just no other excuse why this has become a partisan issue to take public safety threats off the street. Greater than Griff. Before I run out of time, Tom, I have got your reaction to this Biden-appointed federal judge out in Los Angeles apparently expected today to issue a temporary restraining order halting your lawful operation. She says I think it's important for the court not to burden otherwise lawful law enforcement activities. Your reaction there. Greater than look, people need to understand, ICE officers and Border Patrol, they don't need probable cause to walk up to somebody briefly detain them and question them. They need the totality of the circumstances. They just got through the observation, get our articulable facts based on the action location, physical appearance, their actions, uniform Border Patrol walks up to them at perhaps Home Depot. All these are a kick do you believe facts person walks away, runs away. Officers are trained what they need to do taken somebody it's not probable cause it's reasonable suspicion. We are trained on that. Every agent, every 6 months gets Fourth Amendment training over and over again. These officers are really good at what they do. Judge making a decision against officer training what the law is based upon, then they will shut down operations. I think that's their end game. They want ICE to stop doing this if they base it on the rule of law. They are going to find out Border Patrol and ICE is doing what they are doing to do in accordance with the law. Greater than you are not going to stop.